you're here, because this was also Amanda's home. Those of you know that she partnered with the Youth Impact Hub. This was where it all started, was right here in this spot, the big Youth Impact Hub, and where Amanda just worked with so many entrepreneurs here, youth entrepreneurs right here in this spot. So I'm just happy that we're able to host this tonight, because this is her home and this is where she would want us to be. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate the life of this amazing woman that we all just love so much. In some ways it is a memorial because this is about us bringing our memories together and sharing them. And this is also a blessing. This is also a blessing. It's a blessing that we've had the opportunity that we've had to be in her life and her in our lives. And it's a blessing. There's a video that we're going to see that Melita, her mom, put together.
They're all dreamt of and developed by teenagers. Good evening. My name is Amanda Green, and I'm here to share with you a new innovation happening in Oakland called the Youth Hub. The Hub is an international network of over 60 co-working spaces spread throughout the world. Co-working is a growing trend that takes us away from the isolation and often distraction of our home offices and coffee shops to come together, sharing infrastructure and office amenities. The Youth Hub provides a collaborative space for young entrepreneurs. To yoga and mindfulness, lastly we have allies, people like you and myself who believe and support in the vision of these young innovators. We can support by sponsoring a young person, by offering mentorship and advisory roles, or just by soliciting their services. Our marketing and outreach will consist of two demographics: engaged youth and unengaged youth. Our engaged youth will come from leadership organizations and educational systems. We also currently have a functional physical space out of United Roots based in local Oakland. This is the first youth hub in the network. We've seen many pop up all over the world. There have never been one dedicated to our younger generation. How can you get involved? Well, stay in touch. Sponsor a young person. Hire some of their services. Become a mentor or attend one of our events. Thank you for your time. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So I've been asked to talk about new social media stuff. I can tell you that they found the value proposition, and they've gone out and market research to solidify that the value proposition matches. They've developed their business model, they've done their SWOT analysis. I can tell you about their SMART goals, I can tell you about all the stuff that we've been doing. But really, what I want to say is that Youth Hub Fellowship is our response to what Gina was talking about, and really our response to centuries of an extractive economy. And that this special people, part of our model in the Youth Hub Fellowship is that we have alumni, we hire alumni to come back the following year and provide training and support to fellows. So they co-facilitate with us, and they're just in the space with us and supporting our young entrepreneurs. Especially in a time when it's really easy to feel disempowered and kind of hopeless right now, but just remembering that we do have a lot of power here. Another power that we have is the power of community. So while we have the amazing panelists that are offering some support and some reflection to our
Smart. So what I'm saying is now is a little bit
You're the clear light, pure, clear white light from which everything in the universe comes, to which everything in the universe returns. The original nature of your own mind, the natural state of the universe unmanifest. Let go into the clear light. Trust it. Merge with it. It is your own true nature. It is home. Thank you, Amanda. Next thing, we're going to have Galen is going to speak. Galen was right there by his side, and so we just think it's important for people to know what happened. And so he's going to give a talk about that.
Amanda is, I feel her with me very strongly right now, a beloved sister. There was a power in my connection with her that was unique to any relationships I've ever had. And it was a trinity that me and Gino created with her. And that trinity was a very strong and powerful energetic container for the manifestation of our dreams. This last year was an extraordinary year for Youth Impact Hub. It was probably the peak year that we've had since we started the program. And we were reaching amazing new places that we never even thought we would get to. We had always known that was the direction, but it started to manifest before our eyes. And we were at a place where Amanda was very excited to replicate this model around the world. And that's the direction we were heading in. But Amanda and I presented to the board of directors in August. And then Amanda was going to go to Brazil for 4 months and work on the replication of Youth Impact Hub, ground herself in a culture and a place that was meaningful to her, and do some really deep healing work. So we were on the right path. And we had created a collective model and a community of support and love. And so what happened to us was very appalling and very surprising and unexpected. She started feeling pain in her abdomen. Normally, Amanda doesn't complain about pain. She's a very strong, powerful person. And so for her to even bring that up was sort of shocking. And she kept bringing it up, and she was going to the hospital, and she was going to the doctors, and she was saying, this is real. I need some type of support. And the doctors responded with mediocre medication and a very passive way of even evaluating the situation. It continued to worsen. She continued to be in pain. And still, the doctors came up with, you have fibroids. And that is a condition that women her age could have. So she tried to accept that fact as the pain worsened and as she started to basically collapse into a sickness. And it was very hard for me and Gino to watch someone that we know is probably one of the strongest people we know in our lives. So it wasn't until mid-November, she started having pain, at the end of the summer, early fall. It wasn't until mid-November that the doctors finally did a CT scan and immediately said, you have cancer and it is spread. And for us, that was extremely disappointing for the medical institution. And we're very disappointed in that type of diagnosis and their lack of ability to listen and care for her needs. And for Amanda, the diagnosis was overwhelming because when they came back with the biopsy, it was not only cancer, but it was stage 4 and it was high grade. And it's pretty much the worst diagnosis they could give her because they're like, look, there is no treatment and you're lucky if we can even extend your life at all. The Kaiser doctors were very hard for Amanda to communicate with, and she did not connect with them. And the grace she had in those 3 months was profound. She was just grateful for any time anyone did anything. And she dealt with that pain in the most powerful way I've ever seen anyone. So I hope that we can know that she is with us now, and that strength and grace she modeled is a beautiful teaching for us all. And the catalyst of her death is the wave of love and connection of this community. I know that Amanda would want us to stay rooted in nature and connected to spirit so we can be in connection with her eternally. I feel Amanda with us right now, and I feel her love, and I want you to know I have so many beautiful memories of her, and thank you, Amanda, for that.
Mystic and so many parts. And so there's some friends that are going to come and have a conversation and really talk about some of those parts that Amanda really exhibited throughout her life that made us love her so much. The trickster, the rebel mother, the healer. We're going to talk about all that and have a real good celebration around her life. So, ladies.
My name's Angelica. I'm one of many of Amanda's sisters. So in the rebellious spirit of Amanda, we're going to do it off script, more like a storytelling. And I'm here to share a little bit about Amanda as a rebel. But rather, I'd like to see her as a revolutionary spirit that is always guided and continues to be guided by love. Amanda and I met in middle school. That's when I saw Amanda's activist, advocate spirit born, right? Because she had my back. We literally got like backed up into a wall by security guards and everything when we got busted. And that's who Amanda was. She spoke and she acted for young people. Right? Even us as little 15, 14-year-olds, she advocated for me.
Amanda and I met when we were about 12 years old because she had such a deep, ferocious dedication to protecting the earth. And she was a true leader. She led with love, she led with kindness, and she led with compassion. We'll never forget when we were in Standing Rock and she just stood. She just had this incredible ability to stand and face adversity with courage and strength. And for that, I know that she's touched each and every one of our lives in super deep ways. And I think that she would really want for us to honor her memory by continuing her work and sharing from a place of love and honor and applying the same rules and principles that she did with permaculture. She took those principles and she applied them to her own life and to her own relationships and friendships. And I think if we can do that and continue to honor nature and continue to protect nature and defend the sacred, then we'll be honoring Amanda. And for that, I think all of us in this room will do that.
My name is Mike Nichols. I met Amanda, I think in 2014, right here at the hub. She was like right around here somewhere, sitting there. I used to see her on mom a lot actually. So obviously I'm working whatever, but she didn't notice. I'm a dancer, I love dancing, a lot of like house music. I was trying to do salsa, whatever. Anyway, I used to see her at Lucas dancing all the time, right? And she always wear these red boots, like these kind of almost like knee-high boots, and these cowrie shell belts. So I knew her before she knew me, right? And so pretty. I wasn't stalking her everywhere, but I just.
One of the ones I was talking about.
So anyway, I digress. I am a graphic artist. I am an illustrator. I'm a designer, visual designer, the whole nine. And so me and Amanda became friends like pretty early, and like almost instantly. And so I would see her all the time at the hub. And I was visiting a friend of mine whose roommate, who the niece was her roommate, and Amanda was there. I said, "Oh yeah, I know you from the hub." And so from that point on, we just hung out and kicked it. And so a lot of times with me and Amanda, for me, like I said, I'm a visual artist, and one thing I realized about art, when you're an artist, is something that you don't really say, you just do it. Like, you are art, right? And Amanda was art. I mean, when I saw hip hop, and I told her, like you're like a B-girl, right? And so just her whole vibe, her aesthetic, her swag. She's a dancer, she's a woodmaker, she makes jewelry, she does visual art, she does photography, everything, right? And so she was just being her, right? And I resonate with that because I'm just being me when I draw. Like, I'm not, it's something like, I think when you're an artist, you have to do it. You have no other choice. Like, I would hang out at the house and she would just bring out the drum and start playing out of just randomly. And about the hip hop thing, I said, okay, Amanda, you're hip hop and you can rap. I know you can rap, right? Freestyle. She said, no, freestyle. I was like, freestyle, right? And so I was like, all right, how about this? Freestyle in Portuguese, and I won't look at you so you won't feel like I'm, whatever. And she did it. I don't know what she was saying, but it was fly. I knew that she was spitting something, right? And so once again, it was a part of just who she was. She was like, I think when you think about art, and you think about making art, sometimes it's not the physical thing that you make, it's not how you make it, but the fact that you create, right? And it's a way to where you have an engagement with your surroundings in life, and you translate what you see through jewelry, through wood, through painting, through pencil, and that's what she did. She translated what she saw through art, right? And I resonate with that as well because that's what I do. And one of the things that she inspired me to do, and she asked me for years and years and years to be a mentor for the Youth Impact Hub. And I denied her like 2 years straight. No, I don't do that, no, I don't do that, no, I don't do that. I said, fine, I'll do it, right? And I remember we were in the circle, right? And we had to let the mentees know what we're into, right? And she said, oh, I'm a designer, I do logos and branding. No, that's mine. That's what I do. You just I feel like she kind of took my thunder a little bit. But she is that, and she's right. And so one of the things that we're working on, before she passed was her logo. And so on the zine I created for this event, the image on the bottom is her logo that she was working on. So I just want to make sure that her brand is strong, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of business. So that's all I got to say about that. Like, I love her. She's my sister, and I always will love her. And our relationship is now going to be different. You know what I'm saying? But we're still going to be inspired by art. I'm going to be inspired by her. And so thank you.
And so I met Amanda about almost 10 years now. But I really want to just talk about the fact that what healing means to me, and through my friendship and relationship with Amanda. Amanda made a lot of space for people. She made space for listening. She made space to make people feel like, I care about you. And for me, that was one of the most healing aspects of our friendship, because I went through a lot of things in my old job in open schools. And her being there with me through the process, that's right, was really, really healing, right? Having someone sit there and listen to you like, yeah, that shit is wrong, girl. Yeah, you're right. Bureaucracy in open schools is messed up. Yeah, hell yeah. What you want to do? You want to burn it down? I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So what I really appreciated even more was that Amanda would always make space in her home for me. So me, my son, Lenise, and Helica, we would just vibe out and sit and talk and talking about sisterhood and how it's the #1 thing that's necessary for women to really expand in this world and make the world a better place. I always had that when I was at Amanda's house. And that was the only house where I could be my true self, like my full self, always showed up. I loved being in that space, and Amanda always created spaces that were sanctified. They were healing, they were grounded, and you would see that in her choices of paint to the woodworks that she would put on her wall, her arts, what she would adorn her body with, her jewelry, the type of leather pieces that she would create, and how she was just so focused on making sure that not only was she giving back to the world, but she was making sure the world understood that what she took, she appreciated, and she wanted it to be shown how she showed up in the world. So I really want to recognize the one thing that sits with me right now, with the message that I want to share with you all, is the importance of listening. That is the foundation of healing. If we're not listening to each other, if we're not making spaces to really take time and hear each other out, there is no healing. Amanda always made space for listening. So I hope that we can walk away with that legacy from Amanda.
So I'm supposed to talk about Amanda as a community leader. And I think what I was really struck by is what you were sharing about Saba, about how you felt so open to be yourself around Amanda. And I think her primary leadership skill was being someone who embodies what it looks like to bring all of yourself into any given situation, and by therefore giving permission to everyone else to do the same. It's really difficult to think about Amanda in the leadership realm. I knew her in so many ways. I called her my work wife. We were the two people, she was the person I spent the most time with in the last decade since I met her. And I think the same would be true for her about me. But something you need to know about Amanda as a leader is that she was incredibly selfless. And when we first were launching the idea of Youth Impact Hub Oakland, we worked for about a year without getting paid. And not once did she complain or question what we were doing. She was just all in, 100%. We're doing this, it has to happen, the community needs this, my spirit is called to do this work, and there was no looking back. She was extremely aware of herself. She knew her strengths and her weaknesses. That's why she always made me take notes when we facilitated in public. She didn't want her spelling mistakes to be publicized. She was all on top of it. And I definitely have to shout out how much fun she was to work with. With her and Galen together, it was like two 14-year-old boys. And she often bragged about having the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy. She was really proud of it. But I think overall, the most important thing you need to know about Amanda is her commitment to the young people, which was beyond anything I could comprehend. She just consistently went above and beyond for the young people that we work with. And that's how we're going to close out this section of the night. Is Desiree Johnson Forte in the house?
Some people have experienced her coming to dreams. The ways that she comes to me is I'll have a flash of her and it's her saying like, come through. And it's like her coming out of the staff room, kitchen room, the back area, the classroom of Youth Hub with her arms open and she's like, come through, like, and you can't hide from her. So I'm honored to stand before you and share these words, and I hope that I'm speaking in reverence to all of the Youth Hub fellows.
There's way over 100 hubs around the world now. And we are the only hub that has a youth hub still. Yeah. We are the only one. And when we first started this hub, we knew from the beginning that we're here in Oakland and it's about the youth here. We always knew that that was what we needed to do. And then we found the right people and partnered with the right people, with Amanda, with Gino, and with Galen. And so I just really want to stress how important this youth hub is. That this is her legacy. This is it. This is what she loved more than anything. I mean, so I just am hoping that we will, each and every one of us in this room and beyond, and the people that we touch, will really understand the importance of the youth and supporting the youth. Supporting the youth hub as well. And any youth here, any youth that are striving, whose dreams, they have dreams, and we need each other. We learn from each other. It's reciprocal. I learn from the youth, and the youth learn from us. So please, I just want to really stress how important this is and how without Amanda and her MBA capstone project of the Youth Hub, she created it in her hard work. One of the last things that I really want to talk about before we really break out is that, you know, all of us had a special connection, and everybody felt like they had the most special connection, and you did. We all had a beautiful connection with Amanda, and here we are with her on the other side now. So what does that mean, and how do we live with that? How does it sit in our bodies? How do we grieve? And remembering all the many, many lessons that we have learned from Amanda. So much beauty, so much presence.